guys? It's Brandon from GazelleLab. Got a couple of AT&T devices for you today. On the left here is the Samsung Galaxy S2, and on the right, Apple's iPhone 4S. The Galaxy S2, we'll get started with this one. It's a much larger device, as you can see. It's got a 4.3-inch display versus the iPhone 4S's 3.5-inch. This is a Super AMOLED panel, much more vibrant display. It's a lot brighter if you see it in comparison to the 4S here. Both turned up max brightness, as you can see here. The colors just seem to be a lot deeper and richer. Now, as far as physical size, the Galaxy S2 is 126 millimeters long by 66 millimeters wide and only 8.9 millimeters thick, versus the iPhone 4S's 115 millimeters by 57 millimeters by 9.3. If you stack them, you can actually see that the Galaxy S2 is quite a bit thinner until you get down to this little chin at the bottom here. This chin actually caused it to not be considered the thinnest smartphone in the world. The British ad agency did a study and determined that the iPhone was still thinner, given the overall dimension was smaller. As far as network connectivity, like I said, both are AT&T devices. Both support AT&T's 4G network. However, the Galaxy S2 is capable of 21.1 megabits per second, whereas the iPhone 4S is capable of 14.4. In practice, however, I was in the exact same spot, did a speed test with both devices, and actually pulled double the speed with the 4S than I did with the Galaxy S2. Now let's get down into some hardware stuff. If you can see, or the camera here on the Galaxy S2, I'll just launch it real quick. It's an 8.0 megapixel camera. It takes really nice photos. Now, it's not really fair to compare these side to side on the devices. As I said, the displays differ. However, when you actually pull them off of the camera, I feel as though the 4S has a better sensor overall. The Galaxy S2 compresses images in a weird way when exporting, so the pictures are a bit grainier. Now, as far as memory goes, this is a 16 gig iPhone S. The Galaxy S2 here has 16 gig internal as well, I believe, but the Galaxy S2 is expandable, whereas the iPhone is not. As far as software is concerned, the Galaxy S2 is running Android 2.3 Gingerbread with a TouchWiz interface done by Samsung. One of the changes here, you can see if you launch the applications, it's more of an iPhone style app launcher. You can also choose through the standard list view, but this is the default one. There is also swipe on this by default as a keyboard, and I believe this is stock Gingerbread as well. Now on the iPhone, this is running iOS 5, Apple's latest and greatest. This has 5.0.1, which was released a couple of days ago. It's supposed to improve battery life. So far, haven't seen much of an improvement. This actually means that in my overall trials, the Galaxy S2 actually has better battery life than the 4S. Both are rated for 8 hours talk. The iPhone 4S is rated for 200 hours in standby, whereas the Galaxy S2 has 400 hours standby. And that makes a huge difference if you're just going to leave your phone on your desk for a day. And the iPhone 4S has a 1 gigahertz dual-core processor built on the ARM Cortex-A9 architecture. The Galaxy S2 has a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core, also based on the ARM Cortex-A9 architecture, but the chipset for the Galaxy S2 is actually a Samsung-produced unit. It's the Exynos, and this is Apple's own A5 chipset, same as the iPad 2. The Galaxy S2 has 1 gig of RAM, whereas the iPhone 4S only has 512 megabytes. Now, as far as video quality is concerned, both will shoot full HD, 1080p video. Both have image stabilization, both have face detection, as well as will shoot at 30 frames per second. And both videos actually came out quite well. We'll see if we can get something put up real quick for it. And you know, overall, I would say that the iPhone 4S is a better device, just because it doesn't have the skinning of the Galaxy S2. I'm not a huge fan of using various skins, such as TouchWiz. Huge fan of stock Android, but again, not so much of various skins. But if you want a 4.3-inch screen, or you just want an Android device, it's going to be really, really, really hard to beat the Galaxy S2. Thanks, guys. Please check back soon and see what else we got here at GazelleLab. Thanks.